Hello everyone, this is Motion Grapher here, and today in this video we are gonna animate 3 basic animations in which you are gonna learn a lot of techniques, and you can use that techniques in your freelancing career and in your job, and if you wanna animate videos for your YouTube. So we are gonna start with very basic city animation, in which you will learn that how you can animate these buildings and animating these poles and the ambulance, and then we are going to create this Eid animation in which you will learn that how you can rotate the patterns, and you are going to learn the text scribble animation. In the end, we are going to do this cool animation in which you will learn how you can use the script to animate his tire, and the free plugin to animate the planets on the background, and also we are gonna use some advanced technique to animate these aeroplanes. So I have created the outline for you guys so that you can follow the video. First of all, for the beginners, if you are at beginning stage of the After Effects and the Illustrator, I have set up the first part of this video to give you a very basic intro for the After Effects. If you want to skip this part, you can always go to your video description, and you can always skip the video part by using the timestamps I have given in the video description. And then we are going to do the city animation, and on the third part we are going to do the Eid animation. Then fourth we will do the back to school animation. So before doing anything, without wasting any time, let's start the tutorial. Okay, for the After Effects basics, if you have installed the After Effects, you can see that you will see a very complex panels in front of you if you are at beginning stage. So how you can handle these things, you do not need to worry. I will discuss or describe these panels one by one so that you can feel easy or you can be comfortable with the After Effects. So in front of you, you can see that there are a lot of panels available if you install the After Effects of the latest panel. If of the latest version, you can see that here is the options to create new composition, and on the left side you can see that here is the panel for the project. Below is the timeline panel. Now I'm gonna give you one by one description that how you can use these panels. On the top you will see that there are the main helping links that you can use whenever you want. On the left you will see this is the project window. This window is used to import the files. So I'm gonna import some file into this window so that we can follow the tutorial or follow this After Effects one by one. For example, if I have some video, let me have some video. For example, I'm gonna import our intro into it. Okay, you can just drag and drop the intro into your project panel, or the second thing is you can just double click on this project panel and then you can import that thing into your project panel, or you can import by using this file and going into the import and some file using this import file button. So there are 3 methods to importing the file. First one is by dragging and dropping, second one is by double clicking, and the third one is by using this file. Okay, once you have downloaded or imported your file, you can always see the information around here. You can see that it is 1920 by 1080. It is showing the resolution size, and then you can see its duration and other thing that's not important for now. On the second hand, you can see the effect and controls panel. I'll describe it how this window is used. Okay, after importing the file, you need to import or you need to put that file into your timeline. For that, you need to create a composition. Now, how you can create a composition? You can create a composition by clicking on this new composition, but if you are on older version of After Effects, you cannot see this window. For that, you can always click on this icon. This is available on all of the After Effects versions, or by going into the composition or creating the new composition from here. So I'm just clicking on this icon. After that, you can see this window. So this is the window of composition setting. For that, for example, if you want some video for Instagram, you need the width and height 1080 by 1080 mostly. But if you want it for YouTube, you need it by 1920 for 1080. So it is the actual size or the resolution of the video that you can select from here. You can select the background color, you can set the frame rates from 25 to whatever you want, and then you can the other things, the advanced and the 3D render, you do not need to go into those things. So after that you can click on OK. Now you can see that your composition has been created, and if we import this video file into our timeline, this one is the timeline. Okay, you can see that the video has been imported into the timeline, and then you can see on the right side of this timeline that this one is the video. So, and this one is the time marker, or you can call it the time indicator. So if you move this time indicator into the in forward, you can see that the video is also moving with this time indicator. So on this layer or this video part or any image, whatever you have imported into your timeline, you can do several things. There are many properties that you can do. For example, the basic properties are scaling the thing up by using scale property. You can press S on the keyboard and you can, let me show you, you can scale things up. Okay, the second thing is you can change its position. For example, if you press P, you can move into y-axis or x-axis by using these properties. Then there is a property of rotation. You can rotate the video in anti-clockwise and clockwise. So these are the main items that you use mostly in your items. So another thing and very important thing that I will keep on repeating in this video is anchor point. So what is an anchor point? Anchor point is basically the origin of your footage, whatever you're using. Maybe you are using image or maybe you are using the video. So if you see this little triangle or the circle part, this is the anchor point of this intro. Okay, so how you can use this anchor point, I'll describe it to you later, but just I'm showing you that this one is the anchor point. I'll describe it later. After that, so this one is the timeline, this one is the project panel. Okay, now here you can see the effect panel. How you can use this effect panel? This is actually this panel actually shows that what effect you have applied on your footage. For example, on the right side, if you see, there are a lot of windows I have opened right now. You can always close by right clicking and close this panel, right clicking the close this panel, and you can open this panel again by going into your window and then selecting whatever the panel you want. For example, if I want the if I want something like info, you can see that info panel has been turned on. If I want to close it, you can close it by using right click and close the panel. So I'm closing the panel that I do not need right now, and then I'll show some basic panels that you can use in this video. I'm not gonna explain everything. So this one is the effects and presets panel. We are not gonna use this today, but I wanna show you that how you can use this panel. So if you wanna apply some effect on your video, for example, I wanna wiggle or maybe wrap, wave. Okay, I want to apply this wave warp effect on this video. You can just drag and drop onto your footage or by just going onto your layer. Now you can see that we have applied one of the effect from the effect and presets panel. You can see the details on your effect and control panel here. You can also apply another effect by searching. For example, I applied the tint. Then you can let me change it. Let's apply the fill. effect onto your footage, you can see that there are two effect has been applied. You can turn off by using this mark, or by just deleting this effect. So okay, now you have learned this effect and control thing and the timeline and this effects and presets panel. Now I'm gonna show you other windows that you can use on your footage. For example, if you have this align tool, this actually align the things with your window. For example, I have footage right now on the top right corner and I just wanted it to be into the center. You can always just click on this thing, then again align vertically. You can see that the footage is on the center point. So if you wanted to create the text, you can always right click, going into the new and create a new text. Then you can create a new solid. Solid is basically a color or a color window. For example, if I click on solid and select some color, you can see this one is color window I have applied. You can after that you can scale this up, scale down, and apply some other properties as well. You can always go into the new and select these things. Also you can select these available things by going into this toolbar. Okay, you can access this toolbar on very top. You can see here are very main tools that are available or mostly accessed. For example, this one is the text tool. You can apply this on your video. This one is the shape tool. If you want to draw, this one is the shape tool. Within this shape tool, you can this is actually the pen tool. So if you want to draw something around, you can draw easily by using this pen tool, or you can always use this mask tool. If you click on this tool and you have not selected any layer, for example, I have not selected any layer. If I click on this, I have selected some layer. If I click right here, you can see that I have not selected any layer. So if I have not selected any layer, you can click on this thing and draw something over to your video. So I have drawn the rectangle with a white color. You can change it color by going into this fill part and select some other color. Okay, I'm just giving you a very basic intro of the After Effects, so do not panic if you are beginner. I'm just giving you these things. We are not gonna use these all things in our today's tutorial. This is just a basic intro or basic tutorial of the After Effects. So this one is the I have given you this shape tool. This one is the pen tool. If you wanna draw by very freely, you can use this pen tool. Also within this rectangle tool, you can access other shapes like ellipse tool, polygon tool, star tool, and this rounded tool as well. Okay, now I'm going to explain the very basic and very important concept of the animation that will be repeated again and again throughout this video, that is the anchor point. So I have already told you what is the anchor point. Anchor point, if I selected this layer, this one is the anchor point. Now what's the role of the anchor point? So basically, if you scale down this footage, you can, let me show you. If I scale down this footage, you can see that the footage is going down into the anchor point. Okay, or you can see that this footage is scaling up from the anchor point. So the anchor point is basically the origin of your footage through which your footage comes up or goes down or rotate around. For example, if I rotate this is actually rotating around its anchor point. Okay, now what happens if I change this anchor point? There will be a lot of things that can happen. For example, if I change this anchor point, to around the top left corner and then scale down, you can see that the video or the footage is scaling down to its anchor point. You only note down this point for now, then I'll show you that how this changing of the you can call it the anchor point, how the changing the position of the anchor point will impact the motion or the animation of your thing. Just keep in mind that it is actually the origin of your footage. For example, if I change the origin to bottom, you can see that it is popping up from the bottom. So this is the main technique that we will use throughout the video. So we are done with this anchor point position. Now I want to show you some other things that you can play with. For example, if you have created the text and this some text, I have pressed enter. Now if you see that it is, let me close some layer. Now if you can see that the text is aligned with center position. So if you want it aligned to left position, you can always go into the paragraph window. So where is the paragraph window? Here you can see the paragraph window. If you cannot see this paragraph window, you can always go into the Windows panel and make sure that this has been checked. Okay, now we have turned on this paragraph. If I click on this left align button, obviously it will left align, and if I click on the this one is left align, and then if I click on this right align button, you can see let me select this text and then press on this right align button. You can see that this text has been right aligned. If we want it center align, you can again press this button. Okay, now we are done with some basic windows or basic tutorial of this After Effects. You can see here is the main. I'm gonna repeat it again. Here's the main tool or the toolbar that you can access the main tools for the After Effects: the draw tool, hand tool. This one is the puppet tool. I'll explain this, or I have used this thing in my previous videos, that you can animate your hand or legs by using this puppet tool. This one is the roto brush. It actually used to remove the background of the video. Then I've never used this erase tool, this clone stamp tool, and this brush tool. It's really used, so you do not need to worry about these tools. Then this one is already explained, the text tool. This one is pen tool. This one is rectangular tool, and this one is basically the tool that you can use to reposition your anchor point. You can click on this and then you can reposition the anchor point of the layer, or you can always press Y to select this tool. If I press V, you can see this, there is a arrow key. If I press Y, you can see that here is the anchor point mover tool turned on. Okay, if you I'm gonna give you some very basic short keys that you can remember, because I'm gonna use that or these short keys throughout the video. First one would be the hand short key. You can press H for this hand key. This one is used to move the preview window around. Then you can use the V for the selection tool to select some layer. Then you can use the Y to move around this anchor point. Then if I have selected some layer and I press some S, then you can access the scale window. If I press P, I'll be accessing the position property of this layer. If I press R, I'll be accessing the rotation. So remember these keywords or key short keys. Also, after doing this thing, for example, if you want to animate this layer around, what you can do, you can keyframe it. Now keyframe is a concept that actually rotate or animate your footage. For example, at this one is the anchor point, the time indicator. If I move this to at 0 point, and if I press, let me show you the text here, and press the S for scale button, this one is the timer icon. So the timer icon, actually you can call it that it is the basically the property that changes with the time. Okay, for example, if I click on this scale, you can see the keyframe on this timeline. This diamond icon is called keyframe. At 0 point, I have selected the scale value 100 degree or 100 value, and if I move this time indicator to around 2 seconds and change the scale value to 150, you can see another diamond icon around here. What it does, what this does, it actually changes the scale value from at 0 second to the 2 second, gradually from 0 to 100. Let me show you. At 0 second it was 100, and it will gradually increase till this diamond. At this diamond we have given the information that it should be 150. So if I play this animation by using the space bar, you can see that it is animating with these two things. You can always apply these keyframe values on your other properties as well. For example, if I press R and add the keyframe value at, you can see the time frame at which you are right now at 2 minutes and 3 seconds. If I press rotation keyframe and change this anchor point to around 4 seconds and change the rotation to around 90, you can see that from 2 seconds to 4 seconds it will be rotating with the time. Okay, I'm explaining you these points because we are gonna use these thing in our next tutorial. Okay, now another thing is that you can smooth your animations. For example, if you want this animation fast, you can always drag this to the left. So the first point is 0, the second point is 1, so obviously the animation will go fast. If you want more fast, you can always drag this to the left, and you can see it has become more fast. Let me close this video. So I'm gonna explain the how you can smooth these things. You can always go into the graph editor. This one is the graph editor, and you can smooth the animation through graph editor. But before doing the smooth animation, you have to select both of these keyframes and press F9, or if not, you can always right click, go into your keyframe assistant and click on this easy ease. Then you are done with this smooth animation. So what it actually do, that it actually make the animation smooth. How? First of all, it starts with very slow speed and then fast, or maybe starting with some fast speed and then becomes slow. So it actually playing with the speed of the animation. You can always go into the graph editor for some extra advanced smooth animation. For example, if you see, let me show you. For example, you can see that the speed of you can see on the speed of this thing, it is 39, 49, 70. It is increasing till this point, it is increasing, then the speed of the scale value decreasing. So it is actually the speed of the thing that is increasing or decreasing with the time. But if I drag this handle to the left and play again the animation, you will see the animation has been changed. Let me undo and show you again. This was before, this was the before animation. Okay, so this was the how you can smooth the animation. And now after this smooth animation, you can always apply this technique, the smoothing animation technique, on your rotation and on your position as well. Another thing I want to show you that how you can zoom this up and down by using, you can you can zoom this window by using the scroll up or scroll down on your mouse, or maybe if you're on laptop and you do not have the mouse, you can click on the dot icon, I guess on Mac, and I'm not sure about the Windows, but this one is applicable on the dot icon on your keyboard and the comma icon. You can use those two buttons to zoom in and zoom out, or if you still unable to do that, you can always go into this thing and zoom in and zoom out by using this panel. So this one is, you can ignore this button for now. This one is actually at which part of the, at which duration part you are right now. You can always move the marker around, and then you can change the, so this one is actually, this one is actually to take the snapshot or the screenshot of this window. I have never used this thing, and you can ignore this as well. This one is actually if you have applied very large number of effects on your video and you play the thing on your After Effects, the things becomes very slow. Then what you have to do, you can change this thing to quarter or maybe around third or half, and the preview window will work in a fast way or maybe in a real time. This one is that if you want to see that if there is any transparent thing on your preview window, you can always click on this and check that the window has the text, the background is very transparent for this video. And after that, this one is for actually if you want to work in 3D, so you can get some 2 or 3 views. Like if I click on this custom window, custom uh, custom one, it's actually not working right now, I don't know why. Sorry, you have to change the views from here, and you can change from here to front to active camera. Right now we are on front screen. So this was all the basic intro for After Effects, and for illustration we need only very basic animation or very basic intro. For this you have to, for example, if I open the, open some file in Illustrator, let me open the very first thing that we are gonna do. If I have opened this file in Illustrator, you can see that we only need one window in this tutorial, that is layer panel. You can access by going into your window and this layers thing. So the layer thing is actually, it combines all of your illustration files into one group or maybe several groups. So for Illustrator to make these layers work, you need to separate that layers into their own. For example, they are combined into one layer. You actually need to drag out these layers one by one, and those layers can be accessed in the After Effects, and then you can animate those layers one by one. So now we are going to do the city animation. So our city animation is basically, or you can call it the hospital animation. In this animation we will animate these buildings around and this ambulance. So first of all, what you need to do, you need to separate layers, as I have described before, that you need to separate layers in Illustrator. So let's open the city animation or illustration value for our. Okay, now you have this window in front of you. You can see on the right thing, here's the layer panel. You can access this layer panel by going into your window and then layers panel. So layers panel, it actually have a group, one main group and then another group that contains all other layers. So if you want to access these files in After Effects, you need to drag these layers out. For that, you can always click on these little circle and then you can cut this out and then paste on your new layer. Or you can do another thing by going in, by selecting this group, main group, and clicking this icon and release to layers sequence. Okay, now this one is ungrouped, or maybe this one is ungrouped. You can select all these layers and then drag them out. So now the main layer is empty. You can delete the main layer. Now you can see that all layers are separated or not grouped in one single group. So these layers can be accessed in the After Effects. I'm just gonna rename these layers so that we can easily understand that which layer is in the After Effects. So I'm gonna rename them one by one. You can see that here is a pole, light pole. This one is also light pole. This one is tree. Ambulance. This one is building. If you are not sure, you can always click on this so that something is marked. It is also a building or something. You can delete this as well because it's not visible in our Illustrator. This one is main hospital building. This one is also plants. Okay, this one is some shadow. You can double click to rename the layers. This one is also plant, shadow. This one is road, plant, again plant or tree, whatever you call it, and a building. This one is also building or buildings. This one is background shadow of the buildings, and in the last, this one is sky. So now we are done with the Illustrator file. Now I'm gonna save this thing and then import it in our Illustrator file. Let me think again if something is left in the Illustrator. Now we are done with the Illustrator. Let's save it by going into your file and save as. Make sure that AI has been selected, and in the hospital city you can call it as hospital edited file. Press OK to this window. Okay, now we are done with this Illustrator. Now you can drag this thing up in your After Effects. Let me delete these things, and now you can import that edited file into your After Effects. If you import the AI file, you will see this window. For this window, you have to select the import kind to composition and press OK. So for this, you can see an already composition has been created. You can double click on this composition but keep in mind the composition size, that it is 900 by 400. In the end we will convert this composition to 1920 by 1080 because that is the standard YouTube size. Okay, now let's animate the things. First of all, we will animate this hospital, then these buildings, trees, poles. In the end we will animate this ambulance from left to right, as we have shown in our trailer. Sorry, in our trailer, this one is the main trailer window. So first of all we will animate the buildings, and then we will animate the pole, and in the end we will animate the ambulance. So okay, now first of all I'm doing very basic animation for this first animation, and that animation is applicable to all other layers. So one animation that is applicable to all layers. So stay with me. For that you can select this hospital window, press S for scale, and then click on this timer icon. Move this time indicator to around 20 frames forward, or you can move this around to 1 second if you want. Then click on this diamond icon again. Now if you see that the there is nothing happening on this hospital layer, so go to your first frame or at 0 second and change the scale value to 0. Now if you play or move this anchor forward, you can see that the animation is done, but we are not done in the way we want. Actually the hospital should be animated from the bottom or from the road or from the floor. For that there is a very basic technique that you can use in all over your animations. It's actually moving the anchor point to your target point. For example, if you want something to scale up from the floor, you need to change that anchor point position to floor. If you want that thing to animate from the top, you need to change the anchor point position to the top. Let me show you. So you need to select this tool or press Y to move this anchor point around. I have moved this anchor point to the floor. Make sure that your hospital building is selected. Now if I play this animation again, you can see, let me turn off this ambulance layer. Where is that ambulance? Yes, here it is. If I play again, you can see that the hospital animation is done in a very great way. Let me play again. Yes, now we are done with the animation. You can apply, but you can copy this thing and paste on all other layers. You are done, and congratulations, you have created your first animation. If you are using this for the first time, but if you are a master and you have done this thing many times before, so now you are done. But if you want some advanced technique, what you can do, you can smooth the animations by selecting both of these keyframes and then right click keyframe assistant and easy ease. You can also use the F9. Sometimes it doesn't work, so that's why I've also shown this way, and you can click on easy ease. After that you can click on this keyframe icon, go into the graph editor, and then make sure right click and make sure that edit speed graph is selected or marked. Then right click this or left click this handle and drag this to the left until you got this kind of the the graph the graph thing. Turn off this graph and play the animation again. You can see the very elegant smooth animation. Let me show you. Cool. Now we are done with this hospital animation, and I'm going to copy this animation by Control C or Command C. So copy this thing, make sure that you are on the first frame of the layer, and then apply this thing one by one, or maybe select all other layers, but let me show you one by one. So if I apply this thing to this pole, and keep in mind that our anchor point is here, what if I apply the or control V, the scale value? You can always press S for scale value, and let's play it. You can see that the pole is not appearing from the floor. So for this you can again use the same technique that I have already shown you. You need to change this anchor point to the floor. Do this thing for second pole as well. It should appear from here. Then in the end we will apply the scale or paste the scale value. This one is this tree, so its anchor point should be around here, and for this building its anchor point should be around here. Hospital building, we have done with the hospital building. For these plants, anchor point should be here. For this shadow, it should be here. For this plant, select this plant and change the anchor point to around here. For this shadow, change the anchor point to this position. We do not need to animate the road, so you can leave this layer. For this plant you need to change the anchor point to around here, and for this tree you can move this around here. For this tree, just turn off and turn on the layer and you will see where that layer is located, and move the anchor points to the bottom, because all of these layers will appear from the bottom. So this is very basic animation technique that you can. For the background, if you wanna animate, you need the background should also be on the bottom. Okay, now select all these layers and except the hospital one, because we have done with that, this pole one and this ambulance one, and then press Ctrl V, because we have no, make sure that you are on the first frame, then press Ctrl V. Okay, now you have also pasted the value on your road. Let me undo it by using Ctrl Z, and where is the road? Uncheck that, and then again press Ctrl V. Okay, now if you preview it, you can see that the animation has been done. Really great. Cool, you are done. Again you are done, but let me show you another technique that is really useful to make the animation professional or cool or very sophisticated or elegant, whatever you call it. So for that, what you can do, you need to rearrange the layers one by one. How you can rearrange? Actually, what you need to do, you need to, like, first of all, the hospital layer will appear. The main elements will appear first and the secondary elements will appear later. Okay, for that you just need to drag the layers to the right side. Let me show you. In the end, we also need to do the ambulance animation. I remember that. So let me turn on that layer. Okay, first of all, the hospital animation will appear. Then other buildings will appear. So let me arrange the buildings. These are all buildings. Where are, if there are some other buildings left? Yes, one building. This one is the building. Okay, let me combine them. Okay, now these are all buildings, and first of all this hospital will appear, and then move this anchor to around 6 seconds, six keyframes, and change the position of these buildings forward. Also move these things forward, this building forward. Now if you preview it again, you will see that these buildings are appearing after some time, and this is making the animation really cool. Okay, now also change the position of these poles. These poles should appear after the animation of these buildings. Okay, so you need to think about like that, which elements are important. You can do you can animate, or you can position them first and then other elements later. So if I preview it again, you can see first buildings are appearing and then these poles are appearing. Okay, now you can do for the trees as well, or plants. Let me select the plant layers. These are plant layers, tree layer, this one is tree layer. And you can also change the color by right clicking on this box to something like yellow, so that you can understand that these are the trees layer that need to be make forward. You can make forward as well by just clicking and dragging to the forward. And let's play again or preview it again. uh, it's little bit slow. You can drag them little bit back, maybe around here. Okay, now preview it again. You will see the animation has been completed. Now we are going to animate the ambulance. For that you can press P for position and make sure that you are on 2 seconds. Press P for position and move this anchor point to around 1 second, and then again keyframe it and move this ambulance that it is out of the frame or out of the preview window. Let's preview it. You can see that the position is done, but it is very linear animation or boring animation. To make it a little bit cooler, you can always do the same thing. Go into the keyframe assistant, easy ease, then click on the one of these keyframe values, go into your graph editor and click on your any of these two. No, you should have to click the last one. Make sure the edit speed graph is selected and then drag this handle to the left and preview the animation again. Cool. So now you can see the difference between the two animation. First the ambulance really comes fast and then becomes slow. So what I have done, I have go into the graph editor and change this thing to the left. Let me explain you this graph thing, because sometimes for the beginners this thing is quite complicated for them. And if you want to skip this part, you can always go into your video description and you can see that I have given you the timestamps so that you can skip the part at any time of the video. Okay, so if you move your cursor on this graph, you can see some value. Let me show you. You can see the value. It is starting from 56, then it is keep on increasing. You can see that at this point it is 1600 or maybe 1700 at this point. So this is the maximum value, or at the starting phase it is the increasing the speed and then it gradually decreases the speed. Let me show you. Now if you move the mouse, you can see that the speed is decreasing, and same thing is applying on ambulance. You can see fast, slow. You can see fast, slow. So if I move this thing around, you can see the result again. So what if I drag this thing to the right side? Now it will slow and then fast. You can see the speed value from here, slowly increasing, and then you can play this thing. Okay, slow and fast, but it is very unnatural. The car actually comes from fast and then it applies brake. So this graph should be behave like this. So it is very smoothing animation, and you can apply this type of animations in most of your videos or things. So we are done with this very first animation, and hopefully you have learned a lot of things. You can apply these these animation technique in most of the 2D animation, and it will really helpful for you. And I always use this type of animation from last 1.5 years. If you want to download this file, you can go into freepik.com and then you can download this file. This file is free to use. You can click on this button and then you can download it, but make sure that you give the credit to the author. So we are done with this very first animation. Now we are going to do the second, the city animation. Sorry, the Eid animation. So for the Eid animation, you can see that first of all we will animate these patterns around, and then on the background we will animate those patterns in the rotation value, and we will do the we will do the text animation. So you can see this text animation, this really cool text animation, and then we will move to our next thing, that is the back to school animation. So let's start doing the our Eid animation. And first of all, as always, we have to open that layer in our Illustrator file. For that, you can go into your Eid Animation folder. You can download this file from freepik.com, and make sure to give the credit to the author if you have downloaded it free, and if you download it in a premium, you do not need to give the credit to the author. I've already given the link in the video description if you want to download it. After downloading the file, you need to open the file in your Illustrator. Let me open it, and let me close the previous file. You can command minus or control minus to zoom out the illustration file. Okay, now again you can see on the right side the layers panel is grouped into another panel, uh, another layer, and that is again grouped into two main layers. One is the elements and the second one is the text layer. So After Effects, I have already explained this thing, but if you skip this part to this, if you have skipped to this part, I'm going to explain this thing again, that After Effects actually if you import something from illustration to After Effects only access the file that is outside this main layers panel. So right now we have only one layer, so the After Effects will access only one file. So if you want to animate some layers, you need to drag them out to the outside to this main panel. For that, you can go into your main panel, then right click on this drop down button and then click on this circle. You can see that it is highlighted. You can press Ctrl X to cut it, and from bottom you can cut this out, and then Ctrl Shift V or Command Shift V to paste it. Now you have pasted the Eid text. Click for this second text, Ctrl X to cut it, and then create a new layer, then command or control shift V. Please make sure that you press the shift button, otherwise the things will messed up. For example, if I do not press it, let me undo it, and then I just paste it by using command V or control V, you can see that the Mubarak is pasted to some different location. So it is really important that you press the shift while you paste something into your Illustrator. So we have separated these two text. You can rename it. This one is Eid, this one is Mubarak. Actually, if you are not interested, you can always skip the video, or otherwise I'm gonna show you how you can animate these text. So you can see that I'm gonna do this Scribble animation. This is really cool for you guys. So we are done with separating these two layers. Now let's separate these main patterns and the globes and these big patterns. For that, you need to go into your layer 1, then this group, then again this main group, and now we can separate these layers. You can press on this circle, Control X. From here, create a new layer and Control Shift V. Press this, Control Shift V, Control X, Command Shift V or Control Shift V. So you can do this one by one, or there is another automatic method that I have described in my previous part. You can check the video description and skip to the part of illustration basic of the city illustration point. So I'm just clicking on the circle, Control or Command X, create a new layer and then paste it over here. Okay, another thing is that you are done with the main elements. To separate the main elements, another thing is that you need to make sure that there is no shadow in your video, in your illustration file, because After Effects messed that thing up. So I'm deleting the shadow layer from every main big pattern. So this one is shadow layer. Let's delete all the shadow layer from them. This one is shadow layer, delete it, we do not need it. This one is also shadow layer, and this one is also a shadow layer, delete this out. Okay, I don't think this one has some shadow layer. Yes, okay, perfect. Now let's rename them. I think this one is empty, you can delete it. You can call it a big pattern, and this one call it 2 big 01. I'm calling it big. This one is big, you can call it big 03. You can rename them accordingly according to your own choice. It's really funny that I have selected the big, because right now I'm actually recording this thing really live, so maybe you are having some noise in the background. And okay, now we have renamed them. Another thing is that you need to separate the patterns from this background. You can open this layer window, and here is the pattern. Then again click on this thing, then again click on this thing. Now you can separate these patterns one by one, create a new layer. I'm creating 4 new layers, and then I'm separating this by using Control X, then Command Shift V, Control X, Command Shift V, Control X or Command X or Control Shift V. Then this last layer, Control X and Command Shift V. You can delete this layer 1 because it is empty. Yes, this might be empty. Just delete this layer because we have already separated that thing up. Now you can see that this one is like the opacity is turned on. We will decrease it in After Effects. You do not need to worry about that. Delete this text. I don't know from where it comes. Okay, now it should be a pattern. You can call it pattern. Ignore my spellings. Just paste the pattern in other layers. Perfect. Now I guess we are done. Just another thing is that make sure that none of the clip is outside this artboard, because if something is outside this artboard, After Effects automatically cut that out. So for that I'm just dragging this layer inward. We will drag this out later in After Effects. And also this one is this pattern. You can drag this up forward and little bit this forward. We will drag this down again in our After Effect and then drag this down a little bit below. Okay, perfect. Our design is little bit messed up, but do not worry, we will do or arrange that in After Effects. Also drag this down. Perfect. Now you can go into your file and then save it as, let me go to the, okay, save this file as Eid Edit. Press OK. Perfect. Now you have edited this file. It's time to drag things up into your After Effect. So let me do that for you. Now it's time to drag things up into your After Effects workplace animation. Okay, now I'm gonna import things up into your After Effects. Let's delete the previous layer and then import this edited file into your After Effects. For this import kind, you can select composition, press OK to this window. Now you can see that the Eid animation is the Eid layers is around here. I think we have deleted the background layer accidentally. Don't worry, we can always create a new solid and select some solid color, maybe this one, and then just drag this out. Oh, this one is looking really bad. Maybe I think this one will work. Okay, for this pattern you can see that the pattern is really messed up. You can always select this pattern and press T for opacity. Change is to around 30 or 20 degree. Yes, that's perfect. One more thing is that you can see it is 432 by 288. The composition size is 432 by 228. That's why it's looking blurry. We can do it later, but let me show you how you can scale the things up. You can go into your composition and then composition setting, and then you can change the width and height to 1080. Oh shit, sorry, the design is messed up. Now you can create a new null and select all of these layers, parent it to null, press S on null, and then you can scale this up. Cool. And another thing is that you can scale this up to this point and scale the background layer. That's perfect. And now we are going to animate these patterns one by one, but let's adjust the size. But you can see that it's still looking blurry. Why? Because we have not turned on this rasterize button icon. If you cannot see that icon, you can always right click on this bar and make sure that the switches has been selected. You can see that it is gone. You can again click again column and switches, select all these layers and turn on this rasterize icon. You can see that now it's looking crispy and the blurriness or the pixelation has gone for this illustration file. Now let's adjust the layers that we have messed up in our illustration file. For example, this pattern file, this pattern file need to be little bit low, and this pattern file is should also little bit, let me undo it. This pattern file also need to be little bit low. Now this big 01, where is this big 02? I think we have not renamed it. You can rename it in After Effects by pressing enter, big and 01. Let me check. Yes, just drag this to the top. Perfect. And I think we have also, yes, you can drag this to the top as well. Perfect. I think we are done with the patterns or the resizing or the positioning of these things. Let me check that if the things on your side is looking good. Okay, I think I'm not disturbing, my camera is not disturbing you guys. Perfect. This is actually the OBS live stream. You can also use that thing. I'm actually using it to record my stuff, because last time when I've done the live streaming, actually I've done the 2 hours of live streaming of the same thing, and the actual live streams comes up was around 1 hour, and that was really frustrating. So I'm doing these things for you guys again. Okay, now it's time to animate the things up. So for these patterns, these big patterns, I guess, yes, for these big patterns, and these are two globes, you can call them some hanger 01, and this one is hanger 02. Before the big patterns, you have to do the scale animation. Let me show you how you can do that. But before that, you need to reposition their anchor point to the point where you want that globe to appear up. For that, for example, I want this globe should appear up from this position. The big one, this should appear from this position, so that you can just move around this thing to around here. And then for this big 03, you can change this anchor point position to around here. And then for this big, you can change the anchor point position to around here. And for this big 04, you can change the anchor point position to around here. Okay, now we are done with the anchor point position. It's time to do the scale animation. I'm doing again the same animation we have done with the previous hospital animation. So as I have already said you that that animation was really important, and we are using, most probably in most of our animation we are using the same animation again and again. It's just the game of the anchor point position value. So let's do the animation for this big 01. Press S for the scale value. Make sure that you are on the first keyframe, first frame. Press on this keyframe icon, move around to 20 frames forward. Move this to 20 frames forward, and then change the scale value. You can click on this diamond icon and make sure that you are on the first frame of this layer, and change the scale value to 0. Let's preview it. Cool, the animation has been done. Let's select these two keyframe, right click, go into your keyframe assistant and ease it. Select any of these two keyframe value, go into your graph editor and change this to left side until your graph look like this. Preview it again. Cool, let me change it to thumb third and show you the animation. Cool, it's looking really cool. That's good. Now it's time to just copy the things up. Press S, Command C or Control C to copy it. Make sure that this time indicator is at first frame and select the big patterns. Do not select the hanger, big 3, 4, this one, and then just Command V and play it again. I'm changing the color for you guys so that you do not get confused. Let's make it purple and press S so that you can see that the scale value is pasted. Play it. You can see that the animation has done, but it's time to adjust the time of the layers from which point that they start scaling up. So first of all, this should be animated, then on the second hand this should be animated. So move this anchor point to around that point where this big pattern one is almost animated, and then drag this to the time indicator. Now drag this to the left until you see something. Okay, from here it should the big pattern 2 should started scaling up, so you can drag this to the left. Yes, from this point it will start scaling up. You can see that it will start scaling up from this point. Now same at this point, the pattern the big 03 should appear, so drag big 03 also around to this point and then preview it again. Cool. Now make sure that at this point this orange should appear, should started scaling up. So, or you can drag this more again forward. Yes, at this point it should start scaling up, so you can see it is started scaling up from the correct time. Now it's time to change the position for this one. You can drag this to this point and let's preview it again. Cool, really cool. It's looking really good. Let me zoom this out and then preview it again. Cool. Okay, now we are done with the animation of these patterns. Let's animate the background patterns. For that, you can select all the patterns, but before doing that you need to adjust their anchor point. For example, for this one you need to change the anchor point to around its middle one. Let me show you one by one by clicking on this circle. Make sure that it is on the middle one. For this pattern, make sure just give me a minute. I have control over. I have some water in my eyes, so forgive me for that. Okay, let's start it again. We are on Eid Animation. Okay. Okay, for this one, for this pattern, you need to change the anchor point position to around here. Okay, for this pattern, change the anchor point to, where is that button? Okay, change the anchor point to around here, and for this pattern change the anchor point position to around here. Now we are done. Let's do the move this anchor point to first position, select all these layers, press R for rotation, and keyframe the position icon. Move this anchor to around maybe 13 second or 14 second, and change the rotation value, the first rotation value, to 1. You will see that all rotation value has been changed, and you can see that the background is animating with these globes. You can reduce the speed as well by just dragging these to the right side. I think my camera would be disturbing for you guys. I'm just dragging this to around 20 seconds. Okay, let's preview it again. You can see the speed has been decreased. Okay, now we are done with this background pattern animation. It's time to do the hanger animation, and for that just select these two hangers and change their anchor point position. For example, for this hanger 01, the anchor point position should be around here because they are gonna rotate around this point. For this hanger point 2, change the rotation point to around here, move this anchor point to this position because at this position they will start appearing up. These two hangers will start appearing up. You can again paste the same, I guess scale value will work. Let me check if this works or not for this hanger 1. Yes, perfectly, it is working perfectly. Paste it again for this hanger 2 and drag the hanger 1 to around here. Let me check. Yes, perfect. We are greatly done with the scale animation. Now it's time to do some rotation animation for these hangers. For that, you can do what you can do is press R for rotation, and yes, move around this point, press R for rotation for both of these. Just do this for hanger 01, then we can paste it on hanger 02. Move this anchor position 10 frames forward and change the rotation value to +9. Then again move this forward, change the anchor point position to -9. Then again 10 frames forward, it is at 20. You can move this around to 2 and change this to around 4, +4, and 10 frames forward it should be -4, and again 10 frames forward it should be 0. Let's preview it again. Oh, that is really slow. Oh, sorry for that. The gap should be around 1 second. The 10 is really, it's really fast. So if this is at 1, you can place this around maybe 20 frames forward and change the gap. Okay, now do this for every other keyframes value. Move every other keyframe 10 frames forward. So forgive me for that mistake. Actually the animation is not like it cannot be remembered. It just practicing and keep doing the things until you got the desired result. Yes, it's looking good. Now you can move this and copy the rotation value Press S to check the scale value, it's around here. Move this anchor point to around here. Press R for rotation value, and then Command V or Control V to paste it. The rotation value, preview it again. You can see that it is rotating with our given values. Perfect. And now we will do the Eid animation for these two texts. Now here is a tricky part for doing the Eid animation. You just need to right click on Eid and then create a shapes from this text. Do the same with the Mubarak. Create shapes from vector layers. Now you have got these two shapes. For these two shapes you need to first of all select the Eid outlines and change the fill to none. Similarly, Mubarak outlines, change the fill to none. And let's add some stroke, but we will add that later. Add here the trim path, and you need to add the stroke as well on this by going to add and then stroke. Change the stroke color to something gray for now, and increase its value to around 5. Now if this one is too much, you can decrease the stroke value to 2. I guess 1 would work. Let me check 1. Yes, 1 is looking good. Okay, now at this point change the start value at the 0 second. Change the start value to 0 and click this keyframe icon. Move this to around 20 frames forward and change the start value to 0. Similarly, do the same with the Mubarak one. Add the stroke value by going into add and stroke, and add the trim path by going into add and trim path. Bring it down, change the stroke value to something like gray color and change the value to 2. And the trim path, you can copy the value of above layer, press U, Control C and paste it. Let me check if these cool. We are done with but I didn't like these colors. For that you can just turn on these two layers below and then change their stroke colors. For this one, let me turn that off and change the stroke color to its text layer, and for this one change the stroke color to its own text layer. Press OK. Now it's time to animate these two text. So press T and click this timer icon to select the opacity. Change this value to 0. Make sure that you are on the 0 second, and to around 20 frames or maybe around 12 frames it should be 100. Perfect. Drag this to the right side and let's preview it again. Yes, but before, so when these two text layers starting appearing up, the top outline layers or the stroke layer should starting fade away. So I am adding the opacity and move this few frames forward, change the opacity to 0. Now preview it again. Let me show you. The half one was good. Okay, let me show you again. Drag this to the left a little bit, a little bit right, I guess. Press U. Uh, it should be a little bit, it should be around here. Cool. Okay, now we are done with this Eid Mubarak graphic animation. Now it's time to do the other animation, that is back to school animation. And in the back to school animation we will learn how we can create the we will see that how we can create that tie animation and the background. You can see the planet that is animating continuously. For that we are going to use some kind of plugin, and you can see his tie. We are going to use some script for that, and cloud animation is really basic. And you can see the aeroplane is also animating in that thing, and for that animation we are going to use some path animation, and it's really useful for you guys in various areas. So let's start doing this animation. First of all, you need to open the things up in Illustrator. So let me open for you guys that illustration file. So back to school animation, we are going to turn on the AI file in Illustrator. Press OK to any warning. You do not need to worry, close for these fonts, because we are not going to use these fonts anywhere. Okay, now you can delete something, yeah, that you do not want. You can see that here is the main object window, and within that object window you can see that here are other files that need to be dragged out, because After Effects only animate or only access those files that are out of these group. Actually, the After Effects cannot access the grouped file, so we need to drag them out. For that you can press on this circle and then press Ctrl X to cut it out, and then create a new layer and paste it. Now you can repeat this thing with every other layer. So let me delete the things that we do not want. For example, I do not want this button, I'm turning this off. I do not want this description, and also I won't need these buttons. Perfect. So we are gonna separate these aeroplanes and these character, tie, and these planets. You can create a new layer by pressing this icon, cut that planet out, use Ctrl X, and then paste it by using Ctrl Shift V. Make sure that you press the Shift while you are using this shortcut key, Ctrl Shift V or Command Shift V for the Mac users, and just drag them out by one, so we do not need to separate the stars. This one is the cloud. Press Ctrl X, create a new layer, Ctrl Shift V. Do this for this aeroplane as well. Create a new layer, Ctrl Shift V. Do this for this aeroplane, Ctrl X. Create a new layer, Ctrl Shift V or Command Shift V for Mac users. And for this planet, Ctrl X. Create a new layer, Command Shift V. For this character, Ctrl X. Create a new layer, Command Shift V. And this one is the shadow. Create a new layer, Command Shift V. Okay, I think we are done by separating these layers. So this one is the character. Yes, we also need his tie to be separated out, because we also want to animate that tie. For that you can go into that character layer, and then within that layer you can see his face and his body. turn down this body layer and then select this tie by clicking on this circle, Control or Command X to cut it, close this layer, create a new layer, then Command Shift V to paste it. Perfect, we are done with the separating this layer. Just now it's time to rename those layers one by one. For example, I'm gonna rename it to planet, ignore my bad spelling, planet, and this one is text, this one is cloud, and this one is aeroplane, and this one is also aeroplane, and this one is planet, this one is tie, this one is character, and I think this one is shadow. Just give me a minute, I'll be back. Yes, I'm back. Actually, I need to turn on this light. I'm recording this live, so sorry for that thing. Okay, now we are done with this illustration. You can go into file and save as edited back to school. Make sure that AI format has been selected and press save. Press OK to this window. Okay, now we are done with the illustration file. Now let's turn this thing up in our After Effects. So delete these Eid layers. Now it's time to import the back to school edited file into your After Effects by just dragging and dropping. Okay, for this window you can select the import kind to composition and press OK. You can select this to document size and press OK. You can see that the composition has already been created. Make sure that after the animation you convert it into 1920 by 1080. You can see it's right now it's 750 by 500. You can do it by using the null value. I'll do it after doing this animation. So I think we should do this right now. You just need to create a new null object and then just select all these layers and parent it to null, and go into your composition setting and change the width to 1920 and height to 1080, I guess, and scale the things up a bit until you got the desired result. Perfect. You can delete this null because we do not need that null right now. Now it's time to animate the, first of all we will animate the easy things. For example, the cloud. I think this is, yes, this one is the cloud. Press P for position, keyframe it, move this to around 12 seconds and change the position to around here. You can see it is overlapping. For that you just need to drag this down. Perfect. Now cloud animation has been done. You can preview it and you can see that it is slowly animating. Changing it to quarter, no, half, so that you can see the animation in real time. Okay, now it's time to animate the planets. But before doing the animation for the planet, let me show you how you can animate these aeroplanes. To animate the aeroplanes, it's really easy. You need to create a path. For that you need to select the pen tool by going into this toolbar and selecting the pen tool, or you can also click G for selecting this pen tool. Make sure that yes, we do not care about these two things for now because actually we are going to delete this layer in the end. So for this aeroplane, I'm imagining to animate it like it should be animate like from here to here. So for that you just need to imagine and draw it. Okay, left click and drag it to make it curvy path or curvy shape. Okay, right click, then at this point again do that thing, drag this out, and at this point again I create a point and then drag this out. Now we are done with the path animation, with creating this path. Click on this drop down button, go into content, go into shape, and then again path, then again press Ctrl C or Command C to copy this path and apply this to this aeroplane, the first one. This one is the first one. Where is that aeroplane? Yes, there is the aeroplane. Now press P for position, make sure that you are on the first frame, and then paste the path value by using Command V or Control V. Perfect. Now you can see the aeroplane would be, if you preview it, you can see the aeroplane is following the path, but here is the problem that it is not actually following this path. Why? Because we have not changed the anchor point position. Let's undo it by using Control Z. You can see the anchor point is around here, so anchor point is actually following this path. For that, to change this position of this anchor point of aeroplane, you just need to click Y on the keyboard and change this anchor point position to around here. Now perfectly you can paste again the position value by using Command V, but make sure that you're on the first frame. Command V, let me do that. I think it's gone. You can press U and select this path, Control C, and then Control V, perfect. And if you preview it now, you can see that it is following the correct path, but now you can see that its tip is not rotating along the path, so it's looking a little bit odd. For that, first of all, press R for rotation and change the rotation so that it looks like it is following the path. And on the second hand, what you can do is go into the layers window, layers panel, and then into transform, and then auto orient, and select this orient along path, press OK. Now if you preview it again, you will see that it is following the path in a very great way. Cool. Wow, I'm really impressed by you guys. Okay, now you can turn off this path so that other guys do not see that you have used this trick. Cool. Amazing. It's looking really good. And then, sorry, now it's time to do the animation for the second aeroplane. Which one is this? So imagine in your mind that how you want this aeroplane to come into this screen. I want this to move from here to here. Okay, it will come in from there and then fly back at this point. Okay, so let's create the shape. Press G for rotation. For this pen tool, left click, drag it. At this point again, left click, drag it, drag this handle until you get this beautiful curve. Again click it, drag the previous button, and then again you got some desired beautiful this curvy path, and you are done with creating this path, a really cool path. Just press W, 2 times U, and then copy this path value. Perfect. Now it's time to paste that path value like you always do in your office, or we always do in our university. Copy paste it, move this indicator to first frame, press U, or sorry, press P, select this position, and then Command V to paste it. Oh shit, oh we have forget to change its anchor point as well. Let's undo it. Why you are always forgetting, Mr. Motion Grapher? So change the anchor point by pressing Y, and it should be around here. Make sure that you have selected the aeroplane so it correctly, yes, it's correctly aligned. Now again paste it by selecting this position, Command V. Perfect. Now if you see that the rotation, the aeroplane is following the path, but it is not following its pin is actually not following the path. For that you can do the same thing again, change the rotation so that it feels like it is following the tip is following this path, and then go into your layer, transform, auto orient, and you do not need to do keyframe frame by frame. It will do the magic automatically. Let's play it. uh, I think the lag is because it's in full, so let me show you this in half. Wow, cool. The aeroplane animation has been done. You guys are really great because it's been done with you guys. So let's turn off this shape layer. You can now delete these two layers, or you can just save it for your future animations because these. Okay, now it's time to add some. Okay, now it's time to animate its tie. Okay, for that you can you can use the puppet tool, but we are not doing keyframes. We are gonna use automatic technique. Select this puppet tool and then add keyframe pinpoints at around this point, then at this point in the middle of this tie, and then at the tip of this tie. So after adding the points, go into your mesh and then deform and then puppet pinpoint. Make sure that you delete this base pinpoint. If you select this pinpoint, you can see that it is highlighted on this mesh area. You can see that it is highlighted. Then again click on this drop down button and remove this keyframe or time frame icon. We do not need to animate that base point. So actually the base of this script is that whenever you want something like hairs or the plants, its base or things that you do not want to be wavy should not have this position keyframe icon. So for other 2 points you can see that the position icon is turned on. Now it's time to run the script and do the magic. Go into your file and script, run script file, and then I have already given the link in the video description for this script. I think I have, where is the script? Sorry for that. Yes, here is the script. Okay, if after downloading the file you will have this JSX file, you can then turn on or open this file and then just run it and the magic will be done. If you preview it, you can see that his tie would be animating. Let me show you. I cannot show you in full because it's taking a lot of time. Yes, now you can see that his tie is animating. So you can do this thing as well. One thing that I want to mention you guys, that where is the control or effective control panel, effects. Okay, go into effects and control panel. If you want to reduce this tie wavy, the wavelength, or the if it is waving very fast, what you can do, you can select the tie and change the AMP value. This one is AMP value, and if you reduce it to 3 or 2, the amplitude value, the wavelength of this tie will be reduced or the speed will be reduced. Okay, perfect. We are done with this wavelength. You can also see in our animation, the trailer animation you have seen already. You can see that his eye would be animated like this after running this script. Okay, now it's time to do the animation for this planet. I have used the very a tool that is called Animation Composer. You can download this file from Animation Composer. It is the free plugin, and it has also some paid animations that you can use. I've been using this tool from last 1.5 years, and the money I've spent on this script is really worth it because it has a lot of animations that saves your hours into minutes, that converts the hours of animation into minutes. Let me show you how you can use that tool. You can just go into this window and download the free version, but if you want the premium version, you can select the you can go into my description and select the download link is given below in the video description. You can download the premium version from there. So let me show you Animation Composer. So this one is the Animation Composer. It has a lot of animations, pre-built animations. You can see here a lot of pre-built animations available. So already made the 2D layers animation, the 3D layers animations, and the text layer animations that you can just click and apply them on your files. Also, it has some sounds, really essential sounds that you can use. Also, it has some effects and presets panel that we are going to apply on our planet. So let me sign out my premium account so that you can see the free versions of this file. So if you downloaded this Animation Composer, the free version would have these effects available. Go into your effects and presets, then 2D layer transformation, then wrap. This is the free version that is already available, so I have only used the free version so that you guys do not need to download the premium versions. But if you want to download it, you can download that free or that premium version. It's really worth it. Okay, let's do the planet animation. It's just simple. By just clicking this wrap, and you are done with the planet animation. Cool. Also, you can customize the animation. For example, if you play it, you can see that it is really wavy. Let me show you. You can see that the the planets are really wavy. For that, just go into your select the panel and change the wave height to 3. Same do with the other planet, 3. You can always right click, and you can always select the layer and just remove it, copy it, and many other tools are given in the Animation Composer. It has also, in the free version, it has also the transition shifter that automatically shifts the layers forward, and the anchor point mover that automatically change the position of your anchor point. So it's really useful tool for motion graphers that are doing the animations in a professional way. I've been working in a corporation and in a software house that where I do like animations and the motion graphics daily, so that I am using that tool very much. So if you we are done with this back to school animation, let me show you some of the animations that you can, some of the work that you can do with the Animation Composer. So let me turn on that thing and sign in my account. Do not see my password or email. Okay, we're done with the I'm logging in my Animation Composer. So for example, we have done the Eid animation today in front of you guys. So let me show you how you can do the same animation with this Animation Composer. Let me delete these layers, we do not need that, and just grab uh, and then grab that edited layer into our After Effects, press OK. Now if you wanna, let me create a new solid layer. I'm gonna show you the magic of this Animation Composer. So we have done the previous animation in about 20 minutes. Now you can see how you can do the same animation within After Effects. So for example, for these patterns, let me show you. For these patterns, if you wanna move their anchor point position, you have to click one by one, or you can use that tool, I think given below, or you can use this tool and change their anchor point position one by one by just clicking it. Okay, and another thing is you can do is that, for example, for these big patterns, or let me show you the example that we have done with this hospital animation. That would be more easier you, so that I can show you this thing. Okay, for this thing, the hospital animation, we have the buildings. We have these buildings, this one building, and these three buildings. Let me show you. Okay, for these three buildings and this hospital one as well, you can just click one by one and then drag this by pressing Y and then drag it, or you can select all these buildings and just click the anchor point mover to this bottom, and the magic has already been done. Now you need to animate these things. You just need to go into your transition 2D animation, then go into your scale value. I've already been selected and this or favorited my scale value. This one is my favorite, so I have already selected something that I usually use and apply it to these layers. Now preview it. Done. We are done with the animation. Cool. Now you want to drag this thing forward. You can do one by one manually, or you can just use their tools, transition shifter. You can, let me show you how these things work. Just do it. Okay, now you are done with these animation as well. Perfect. Let me show you the cool. We are done with this animation. Okay, now it's time to animate the ambulance. For that, just click the ambulance and then you need to position it from, let me show you how you can do the position just from left. It should be appear from left. Let me show you. Cool, you are done with the animation of this thing. I think some of the buildings is not appearing correctly, like this building. For that, you can just manually change its anchor point to around here, and for this building, the last building, you can just drag and change its position to around here. Okay, now for this building, you can just change the position to around here and preview it. You are done with your animation with a very great way. And I think one of the so I just want to tell that how it make the things easy by just using one click button, because the animation is already been done. You do not need to worry about the keyframes, and you do not need to worry about the moving the layers one by one forward, or sometimes you do not need to worry about this moving the keyframes. Also, if you want to animate the text, you just write some text around here. For example, hello, how are you? And you can animate it by going into your text, for example text window, and you can select many of the animation. For example, I like this one. I applied this thing and you can see the animation is done. So really cool options are available within this thing. I'm not selling you, but I'm telling you that I've been using this thing from around 1 year. It's a one-time pay fee, and why I do not pay this thing for saving my several hours. And you know, time is money and money is money is. So we are done with this animation. So if you want to download the files, you can always go to freepik.com and download the files from there. It's free to use. I've already given the video. I've already given the links in the video description, and so that's all from today. If you like the video, you can thumbs up this video and you can subscribe on my channel. I'm planning to do the weekly animations on this channel. You can also ask for the, if you wanna do the some custom animation, you can ask me in the comment section. So if you have any question in this video, you can always ask in my videos comments, or you can use my email. I have given all the things in my video description and the video section. So in our next videos, we will be animating something that can be really helpful for you guys. So before ending my this live stream, actually I've done this stream in a live mode. I'm recording this thing live, and using the Streamlab OBS. You can use this tool as well if you want to start your channel. You can use this tool. And thanks for everyone watching for this stream, and for staying with me, and for subscribing this channel. You guys are really awesome. You guys are really good. And as always, thank you for watching, and see you in our next stream very soon. So I wanna show you another thing, that if you are still on this channel, that means you are really loyal. So that I want to show you some secret tool, and it will be visible for the one who is watching this video right now. Let me show you. If you want to animate without using After Effects, what you can do, you can always go to this Freepik and select this stories by freepik.com, and then you can see that here you can see that a lot of animations are available, a lot of illustrations are available, and you can select these. For example, if I want to animate some work illustrations, you can search it from here, and then you can animate it. Let me show you how you can animate by using freepik.com. So if I select this thing, if I want to animate the character, then select the character, and then you can animate it. So animate it by using this button. So let's go into the tool and show you how you can animate it. I press this little button. I think my internet is slow, so I will maybe end this stream soon. So if you wanna watch this tutorial, you can see my next video. Okay, this has been appear. Okay, now if you wanna animate this character, you can see that the things are automatically highlighting. So I wanna animate this character. You can animate it by just slide up. Perfect, you are done with that. I want to animate this device by using slide up. Perfect, you can add some delay. For example, I want this TV to comes first, then this character will come later, so you can add some time frame it. You can see the animation has been done. For the background icons, for these icons, you can just add the floating icons, and you can see the animation is correctly done. Cool and perfect. That's looking good. You are done with the animation, and then you can play it and save it, use it. So there are a lot of illustrations available that you can use for your project, for your web series, for your YouTube videos. A lot of things are available. You just need to click it and run it. Thank you very much for watching this video tutorial, and it was great, loving, and a lot of things we have done today, a lot of materials we have done today, and we have done learn a lot of things. Hopefully this was a great tutorial for you and it was really helpful for you guys. So if you have any question, you can ask me at any time, and good luck everyone. Thank you for watching. It's time over. See you very much. I was doing this animation from last 2 hours and now I'm gonna eat something. So see you soon in our next videos. Thank you very much.